Hello guys, welcome back. In this video, we are going to cover this amazing Apple-style video tutorial. First, create a new composition. Now select the rectangle from the top menu. Set to Fill Composition Area. Set the fill color to white and adjust color like me. Next, select the text tool. Type the text exactly like mine and place it in the center. Align it properly so everything feels balanced. Now let's bring the text to life. Animate the opacity. Set the first keyframe to 0%. This creates a smooth fade-in. Now add transform effects. Animate the transform properties. Follow my values closely as I adjust the position. Finally, we'll add a soft bounce curve to the animation. Create another new composition with the same resolution. Now import the image linked in the description. Zoom into the composition so you can clearly see the details of the image. This makes tracing much more accurate and easier to control. Next, add a rounded rectangle shape. Resize it carefully and position it exactly like I'm doing on screen. This will act as the base guide for our shape. Now select the vector drawing tool. Start tracing the image along the edges, following the shape step by step. Take your time here. Slow and precise movements give the best results. Match each point carefully, just like I'm doing. Once the path is complete, close the vector to create the final shape layer. Adjust individual points if needed to smooth out the curves. Now make another points like me in the middle of sides and adjust using Bezier curve. Change color to white. Duplicate the layer and flip it horizontally. Now adjust the position of the shape. Now rename each layer so it will be easier for animation. Also rename the composition so it will be easier to select the right layer while animating. Center the anchor point for both created layer. Let's animate each layer. Add position and rotation keyframe. Adjust them as shown. Select the position keyframes. Open the curve editor and add a soft bounce, like shown. Copy this curve and paste it onto. Rotation. Do the same with another layers. Use the same curve everywhere. Alright, one last step, and we're done. Select the layer and create clipping mask. Also do same with another layer. This makes both layers only visible inside the main shape. Now go back to the composition settings. Choose the background color transparent. This is important for reuse in next part. Now let's go back to the main composition. First, rename this composition so it's easy to recognize later. Now move to Object Element. Tap on All, then go to Project, and select the composition we created earlier. This imports the entire animation into the main composition, converted into a group. This lets us control everything as a single object. Now open the Pivot, Anchor Point, Settings. Move the pivot to the bottom right corner. Now animate the scale, just like I am doing. Now add a smooth bounce curve. Animate the position of text layer. Add this bouncy curve. Now animate the group layer again like me. Copy the curve from its scale animation and paste it position keyframe. Let's add another text layer. Adjust its size, font, color as shown. Animate the position of text layer. Copy the curve from the group layer and paste on the current text layer. I am doing bit adjustment, it is up to you. Now for the final animation. Select the text layer and animate the opacity. Due to time constraints, and to keep this video from getting too long, I've added the text transform preset used here in the description. Simply import that preset and apply it to the current text layer. Readjust the position of keyframe as shown. This gives you the exact same animation instantly. This helps us save time while still keeping the animation clean and professional. Now, let's move to the second part. Select the grouped layer. Split it exactly like I'm doing on screen. Now select the second split layer and ungroup it. This allows us to control it separately. Finally, adjust the duration of this layer slightly to match the timing. Select each layer. Remove all position keyframes. Then remove all rotation keyframes as well. This brings the layer back to a clean, static state. Now let's animate the shape. Select the rounded rectangle shape layer. Adjust the size and radius over time exactly like I'm doing. Open the curve editor and apply the same smooth bounce curve I'm using. Now let's add a bit more motion. Select the rounded rectangle shape layer. Go to rotation and add keyframes. Rotate the shape just like I'm doing on screen. Add smooth bounce curve here as well. Select the rounded rectangle shape layer. Go to color and fill. Enable keyframes and animate the color change to white, just like shown. Adjust main background color bit. Go to the previously created composition. Move the timeline to the exact point or just after where the animation ends. Now tap on Share and Export icon. Select Export as current frame as PNG. We'll use this image later in the tutorial, so make sure it's saved properly. Now let's animate the paper elements. Select left paper, add position and rotation keyframe. Position it outside the shaper layer with bit rotated on last keyframe. Do same with right paper. At this point, we just need to design the layout. Now I'm adding the shape, the text, and the exported image. I'm positioning and adjusting them to match the final look. I'll increase the speed here, since this part is mostly design and placement. Just follow the layout on screen. Once this is done, we'll move on to the final animation. Finally, it's time to animate. Select the exported PNG layer. Add position, keyframes. Adjust the position values exactly like I'm doing. Select the position keyframes and apply smooth bounce curve. You'll notice the PNG is visible outside the main shape. We'll fix this later, because using track matte right now would make the project heavy. Now let's animate the text. Select the text layer, add text transform effects, and choose the standard preset. Now adjust the effect to match the values shown on screen. Also animate the small text. Now let's animate the group 1. Copy the curve from paper 1 or 2 and paste the same curve here. Now let's clean everything up. Select each layer one by one. Track matte them to the main shape layer, so everything is visible only inside the shape. This keeps the animation clean and controlled. You now have a smooth bounce animation with clean transitions.